start right down on me. The first thing I noticed was that she smelled like the white rose my mother had planted in her front yard. I have truly succeeded today, I thought to myself.
Well, this is embarrassing. But I feel like there can be an important lesson in this story for someone. Maybe. You're going to get to see the whole story just now. Can you remember back in the days when your teacher come in class and you're expecting a whole set of work, but instead you end up hearing his or her life story or some story in their life and you're like, yes. Well, this is just like that, but just for YouTube. This one's catching you all annoying me. So as you watch this story, whoever you may be, I want to remind you that sometimes in life you'll end up in some dumb situations that you don't want to be in, but you are usually always given an opportunity to walk out of that situation. And even when you think it's too late, you can still just watch the story. Oh wait, one more thing. Alright, I know my students say I talk a lot before getting into the video, but this is important. Come. We are about to hit 10,000 subscribers. Alright, I know there are lots of YouTubers out there with millions of subscribers and this is like a drop in the bucket compared to that, but this is a big deal for us because it's a Caribbean channel and it's an educational channel, and 10,000 subscribers, 10k. Alright, I don't know what I'm talking. Watch your video, enjoy yourself.
So, as you all may know, I'm from Trinidad. There's a meme that says Trinidad is not a real place. And growing up in Trinidad, there were many ways of transport for a secondary school student to find his or her way to school. But the number one choice was Maxis. And this was the era of the notorious overloading Maxis. So the drivers of the overloading Maxis would perform phenomenal feats and stuff an ungodly amount of children into their vehicles. And you would think that this would make people not want to travel with them. But for some select few, for some reason, they were attracted towards the overloading Maxis. That was weird for me then, and it's weird for me now. Squeezing up in a Maxi with a bunch of strange school children and a Maxi conductor who I'm sure had the purest of motives. Such a good guy. Anyhow, on the day in question, I was liming on the Maxi stand talking with my friends after school, you know, the usual. And I wasn't planning to stay long because after a certain time, the Maxi stand becomes empty and the only option is the overloading Maxis. But as the story goes, just as I was about to leave, she appeared. A beautiful girl I had seen before after school walking around the borough. We hadn't really talked before, but we had done a kind of eye communication thing, you know. You watch her, she watches you, and there's this silent understanding between the eyes. I can't believe I'm telling you all this story. I'm supposed to be teaching you all maths. Anyhow, let's go on. I can't remember her name, although I would eventually find out. But for the sake of the story, let's call her Shenseea. And as we would say back then, and probably applicable still now, Shenseea was her best thing. And she was from a popular private school in Shoguna's upper level educational institute. I wonder if I'll get in trouble for saying that name, boy. Anyway, where am I? Just as I was about to go home in a normal Maxi, Shenseea appeared on the stand and she did that same thing with her eyes again. So I stayed on the Maxi stand and limed with my friends a little longer. My friends told me they usually go home late with an overloading Maxi, a Maxi by the name of Dimension. Pause. A thing about overloading Maxis, they always had these very creative names written on them. Unpause. And I decided to ask back then, by the way, just by the way.
Them girls from upper level, let's travel into
And my friends confirmed, yes, they always go in a dimension. 20 minutes later, Dimension pulled up on the stand and all the children rushed towards the door, and I saw no need to hurry because this is an overloaded Maxi, everybody's gonna get a seat. And this is when I witnessed the science behind the overloading process. You see, the Maxi conductor sent in all the boys and crammed every inch of available seating. And then, just when I thought every piece of available seating was utilized to the max, the conductor sent in the girls to sit on top of the boys, and this formed a brand new layer of top seating. Some boys could even fit 2 girls. There were no objections, none. And combined with some very loud party music and some disco lights he had installed in the Maxi, I was beginning to understand the attraction of the overloaded Maxi situation to the mind of an adolescent teenager. And yes, back to the story, as fate would have it, Shenseea came right over, watched into my soul, and sat right down on me. The first thing I noticed was that she smelled like the white rose my mother had planted in her front yard. I have truly succeeded today, I thought to myself. The second thing I noticed was that I had nowhere to put my hands. They just hung on the side there, useless, and I made a little look around and I saw that the other boys had their hand either on the back or the thigh of the girl that was sitting on them. And you know the saying, when in Rome, act like the Romans? So young Kerwin carefully placed his hand on Shenseea's thigh. She looked around. My 14-year-old heart skipped a beat. And then she smiled and placed a bag on top of my hand and adjusted herself. So, I have truly succeeded in life, I thought to myself. But as she adjusted herself, I noticed one more thing. I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel my legs. The Maxi hadn't even left the stand yet, but I could not feel my legs. You see, the thing I didn't tell you about Shenseea was thick. She was a bit chubby, and when she had adjusted herself, she had actually squeezed my lungs, and her ample behind was slowly cutting circulation from my legs. By the time the Maxi had taken off, my thighs felt numb. Now that the driver was on the road, he turned up the music some more, and the song that was playing was Ram Ram. I can remember it because Shenseea began to bubble, and the lyrics to that beautiful classic by Lady Saw began to take on a different meaning as I struggled under the weight of Shenseea. But I wasn't gonna let my friends know that she was gonna kill me. I didn't want to look like I couldn't handle it. Then Shenseea increased the rate of the bubble, which is called twerking now, right? Well, everyone was singing and dancing. It was so loud. But this was a bad thing for me. I was sure my knee was going to pop with every downward motion of Shenseea's. Shenseea turned around.
What happened? You shy?
She asked.
No. It's a normal scene. Where you living?
Was my reply. She smiled and continued bubbling on my paining leg. I don't know what she thought of the question, but I was trying to find out how much more I had to take. I lived St. Mary's. If she said by the Triangle or Chase Village, I knew it would only be a while till she reached her destination and I would be saved. But she said,
I live in Sando.
I cried inside. This was the actual last stop on the route. Now I need you all to understand I was in actual physical pain. How she was leaning into me. I wasn't breathing properly. I was feeling nauseous. Other students had dropped out of the Maxi. She could have probably gone to another seat, but no, she sat there on me. In fact, she turned around and began talking to her friends whilst I just watched out the window and I was counting the houses, trying to distract myself. When I began to cold sweat, I did the only thing my 14-year-old brain could think of to save face. I reached up and pressed that bell. Listen, I actually jumped off the Maxi. I actually came off the Maxi way before my stop. I had no money to get another Maxi, so I walked home from Chase Village to St. Mary's. Listen, I don't know who this message is for, but if you are going through something in life that you are not supposed to be going through, press the bell. And press the subscribe button too.